Greetings and salutations, humans. Welcome to the channel. This is your host, PutinBot. Today, as the title describes, we are going to be doing the best Kantra the Cyclone build for 2022. For those of you who are not familiar, and I'm going to assume you're watching this video that you have Contra, just how powerful she is if you build her around a team that scales with debuffs. In 2022, we now have champions we don't have access to when she first came out 2 years ago that really augment her kit. I'm going to show you how to get the most out of her, and the build I'm going to show you today is going to help you in dungeons, it's going to help you in Hydra, it's going to help you in Doom Tower normal, it's going to help you in Doom Tower hard, it's going to help you in all the places. Let's turn the audio down just a little bit, it's kind of loud in my ears. So without any further ado, let us get into it. I'm going to show you some teams that are going to work. I'm going to show you some teams that are going to be very accessible for early game, mid game, and even late game where I am currently in Raid Shadow Legends. First and foremost, let me go ahead and show you all these sets I have my Contra in. As y'all can see, I've got her in one speed set, and I've got her in Relentless. I'm going to go over that for you here in just a moment why. Total stats for Kantra the Cyclone, I've got her at 52,000 HP, 5,674 defense, 250 speed and Relentless, which is respectable. Her crit rate is non-existent. Crit damage, don't really care. Her accuracy is 286. That is a little bit low for Doom Tower hard, but I'm going to show you, well, that's not going to matter too much. She's going to be perfectly serviceable. Let's go over her kit, and I'm going to show you her masteries, and then we're going to do some runs. Hello, Minibot. So, skills. Her A1, Bane Hatchet. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 40% chance of stealing a random buff from a target. Keep in mind, that's each hit. And that books up to a 60% chance on each hit. Her A2, Chaos Tempest. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing one of the following debuffs for 2 turns. Block buffs, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy, or a 100% heal reduction. And that books up to 75%. And if you take the masteries I'm going to recommend, you actually get an 80% chance every time Contra takes a turn for this mastery to proc, which is why I've got her in Relentless. I want to get those extra turns in. Then, her passive. No escape. Decrease each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff they're under. That's like a built-in resistance buff for you and your team. This champion will receive 4% less damage for each debuff on the attacker. Heals this champion by 1,250 HP every time a debuff expires on an enemy. Has a 75% chance of placing a provoke for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. That's what's key. Per turn. If the enemy's under 5 or more debuffs, with the fearsome presence mastery, gotta be able to talk. That's a requirement to be a YouTuber there, Putin. She has that 80% chance of landing that debuff, that provoke, which is busted with the team I'm going to show y'all. This champion can place debuffs on weak hits. Affinity does not matter, folks. Her A2, it does not make a difference if she's going against a spirit affinity wave. Matter of fact, you want her to, because she's negative affinity normally. She's going to be taking those hits. She has the built-in damage mitigation in her kit. She is a monstrous tank for her masteries. I went down, like I said, down to Fearsome Presence. I took Tough Skin, Blast Proof, went down to Resurgent. That way she's able to cleanse some debuffs. Fun little thought before I go any further. With Contra's passive, it does not matter if she is CC'd or not. She can be frozen. She can be stunned. She can be provoked herself. It doesn't matter. Her passive still works regardless of her status. She just can't be dead. Then we went down to Retribution. We went down to Deterrence because I want a chance to get those counterattacks off with their A1. We finished off here in Fearsome Presence. I also went down to Master Hexer in the support tree, and I picked up some extra accuracy. Now, one thing I will recommend, I tried building Contra in a damage build to make her a defense-based nuker. It doesn't really work for her. Her multipliers are too low. She can't really compete with the big hitters like Ignatius or even Tyrell. Their multipliers are just simply bigger. So take my advice, learn from my mistakes, build Contra around your team to be a tank. That all sounds well and good, Putin. What are some champions that are going to work really well with her? Well, again, you got to keep her A2 and her passive into perspective. To get the most out of her, you need to have the enemy under 5 or more debuffs at the start of her turn. Fortunately, we have options. I'm going to show y'all some of those right now. First and foremost, we're going to go with Thylesia. Still, in my opinion, the best defense down in the game because of what she's able to bring to the table as far as support. She has the defense down for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. Her A2 then attacks all enemies. Like to see that, it's an AoE. Increases the duration of all debuffs on all enemies by 1 turn. So again, we are extending the duration of those debuffs. That fits into Contra's passive perfectly. Then we have her A1, attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance, books up to, what's this, 55, 60, 70%. Let me do some math. Math is hard. It's early in the morning. I need to have some coffee. 55, 60, 70% chance of spreading debuffs on champions that are on enemies that are under Hex. Okay, great. Where do you get the Hex from? You get the Hex right here. When attacking enemies under decreased defense debuffs, has a 50% chance of placing a Hex debuff on them for 2 turns. Hex is a debuff. What are we looking for with Contra? We're looking for more debuffs. Let's keep on looking. We have other options here. We've got Dark Kale. Has a 75% chance of placing 3 poison debuffs and a 25% poison sensitivity on the target for 2 turns. Looks good. Single target. Why does that matter for the concept of this video? Because of the A2. Attacks all enemies. Places a decreased attack debuff for 2 turns. Each critical hit also has a 75% chance, books up to 100, of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. If you are struggling, look for champions that are able to extend the duration of debuffs. If you get Contra early game, if you're following my advice here, she is going to carry you. I'm speaking from experience. She carried me for 2 years. I'm still running her everywhere. I run that barbarian like a scalded dog. But I mean, if you're early game, I promise you, I'm speaking from experience. Crawl, let's get your entire team, climb on her back, build a team around her. She will keep you alive. Another great choice, Venomage. It's all about right here. She attacks all enemies, places a heal reduction debuff. Also places 2 poison debuffs. That's what you're looking for. That's what you want to have happen. That way you can stack those debuffs, you stack those poisons. Contra comes in, locks them down, especially if you've got a relentless like what I've got mine in. I'm about to show y'all. It's going to lock stuff down. It works beautifully. But let's just say you're super early game and you don't have any access to those champions yet. That's fine. I'm going to show you another option right here. Eris. I've done a guide on her. She is a farmable champion. If you farm her from stage 6, she has a speed buff, which is right here. She also has a cleanse. Then she has her passive. Okay, what's going on with how exactly is this going to work? She doesn't have any debuffs. Well, if you're farming dragon, you can farm this toxic set, which I've got my Eris in. It's the weak version of poison. Granted, that's true. But it doesn't matter if it's the weak version of poison or the strong one. You're still placing the debuff that still procs in to Contra's passive. Plus, she's just a great all-the-way-around champion. she gets kind of go back into her kit. She has a ally speed in all dungeons by 16%. She has this counterattack passive. Then she has this chance. If she kills someone, she takes an extra turn. That just gives you more chance just to get up. But the big advantage you're going to get out of her is this right here. With this increased speed buff, that's going to let Contra get back around to her abilities faster. Let's say if you're Contra, if you're early game, you don't have Relentless gear. That's perfectly fine. Run your Contra in Toxic. Run her in a stun set. If your biggest problem is trying to control the enemy, Toxic sets are your friend. If you have Kantra the Cyclone, it works beautifully. And then, if you have the ability, if you have this little guy right here, Doomscreech, he's a rare, you get him out of Void Shards. Go right here. Fills a turn meter of all allies by 30%, and then places the big version of defense up on all allies for 2 turns. The defense up is harder for you to kill. Contra's a defensive-based champion. Makes her hit harder. But the big thing is that you're getting turn meter, you're getting Contra back around faster and getting back into her abilities. Well, what about if you don't have a Doomscreech? That's okay too, because you've got this little guy right here. If you're building a tank and you're depending on this tank to keep you alive, build a team around that tank that's going to be able to make them get back to their abilities sooner. With Apothecary, it's all about this increased speed. Has the increased speed buff and fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. Instead of running Apothecary in this run, I'm running Eris because she has the speed buff, and I'm running Doomscreech because she has the bigger turn meter increase. So that's enough talking about it. Let's get into it. Let me show y'all how this works. Let's go into dungeons. We're going to go into Dragon's Lair 20 because we don't want to be here all day. I'm going to keep this video short and concise. I'm going to try not to ramble. Let's just come right on down here, and here we are, Dragon 20 demo. Here's the team. We have Eris in the lead. We have Thylesia. We have Doomscreech. We have Contra, and we have Venomage. This is an accessible team, little folks. I'm using 2 rares. One of them is farmable, and I'm using 2 epics. Venomage is in here for the win condition against the dragon and to help Contra control the waves, and I promise you, they are going to be controlled. Take a look at this. It's busted. And I'm going to speed this up like I normally do. I'm just going to do this as a normal run. There's Doomscreech. We've got the turn meter. We've got the decreased speed. We've got the top, and we've got the poison procs. Everyone is provoked. And on this team, one thing I want to point out, we're not running a healer, and we don't have a reser. Everything has to work just so. That's okay. Contra has the built-in heal in her kit. I mean, look at this. It's not a problem. This is an accessible team. And again, if you're early game, get yourself a war mate. Get yourself some other champions that have debuffs with AoEs. You have Contra. Consider building them in toxic sets, because the more debuffs you have, the easier of a time it is you're going to have. I mean, you're able to see right here. Look at the poisons. Look at all the debuffs. Whenever someone's getting hit, the only person getting slapped is Contra, which is exactly what we want to have happen. Now we're at the dragon. And now Venomage, it's her show now. This is why Venomage is here. If you don't have Venomage, Frozen Banshee works great. Matter of fact, if you're running Frozen Banshee on this team, I may even do a run showing her. I'll take Venomage out, put Frozen Banshee in. The AI won't use Frozen Banshee's A2 by default. If you're building a team like this stacked with debuffs, go into your AI presets, so we'll show you, because you get turn meter for every poison that's on the enemy, maybe every debuff. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's been a while. But turn meter is what it's all about. You want to be going quicker. You want to be going as fast as you can. And this is how it works. Look at all the poisons. We've got weak poisons. These are from Eris. We've got the big poisons. These are from Venomage. We've got the attack down. That's from Contra. The dragon's not hitting us as hard as he normally can. And this is a team of squishy champions with the exception of Contra, who's our tank. No, y'all tell me. Am I out of my mind? Do y'all think that this team won't work? Do y'all think that do y'all think I'm blowing smoke? Or do y'all trust what's in front of your eyes here and see that you can have an accessible team with no rezzers and no healers that's able to stay up and get work done? And one of the things about the dragon, if y'all recall, he puts out that poison. He'll poison your team. I don't care because I have Eris. She has a cleanse. No one's going to die. There we have it. And these are garbage. Goodbye. Let's take a look here at the total damage. Eris comes in just under 1 million. Thylesia comes in with 1.2 million damage. Doomscreech isn't there for damage. He's there for the defense up and really more for the turn meter than anything else. Contra came in at 619,000 and Venomage came in at a respectable 921,000. Let's edit the team. Let's take Venomage out and let's grab. Actually, let's go to team setup because I want Frozen Banshee to use her A2. So like I said, she will not do it unless you force the AI to do it. Let me go ahead and just double check her kit. Cruel Exaltation. Attacks one enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 2% for each debuff on the target. There you go. We're looking for turn meter. That's what we want. We want turn meter. So we will okay, so let's do Frostbite. We'll do this as the first choice. That's our poison sensitivity. Cruel Exaltation. This will be your second choice. So she's going to open up with Frostbite. Then she's going to use her A2. That's going to give us more turn meter. We're going to have plenty of debuffs on the enemy. That's going to make us go even faster than what we were before. She may actually be an even better option than Frozen Banshee is on this, or than Venomage. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's do a test. We'll do this every way. So this will be the first choice. Full Exaltation. Second choice. Round 3. First choice. Full Exaltation. Second choice. Okay, let's save it. Let's do a run. I said I don't want this video to be too long. Y'all have better things to do on a Tuesday than listen to me ramble. But I just want to show y'all, if you have Contra, use her as a tank to keep your team alive. She will keep your squishies up. There's the turn meter boost. There's the defense down. There's Frostbite. There's the provokes. Look at them all. There's the extend. There's Eris doing her thing. Look at all the provokes. Look at them all. And this is a team with one epic, which is Thylesia, 3 rares, and Kantra the Cyclone. No, y'all tell me. Does this look feasible to you or not so much? To me, it looks good. And with Contra being in that relentless gear, she will be taking these extra turns. That just makes her that much more efficient. If you have relentless gear, put your Contra in relentless. You will thank me. You will 100% thank me. I promise you. There's a cool exaltation. Just got the turn meter boost. We got more turn meter boost right there out of Eris. When the enemy does take a turn, they're hitting Kantra the Cyclone, which is perfectly fine. That's what we want to have happen. She's the tank. She's self-healing. There's no other healing on this team. If someone falls down, they're staying down because I cannot pick them up. They are going to stay in the dirt. Doesn't matter. Then the dragon, he's not a big problem either because we have Eris in there for the cleanse. We've got the weak version of poison that's being popped out right there right now because of that toxic set that Eris is in. Now we just need to get Frozen Banshee doing her thing. There we go. We got poison sensitivity up. Let's get some poisons up there and... Okay, I think I see where I messed up. She needs to be doing her A1 now. There we go. There we go. She used Cruel Exaltation, which is perfectly fine. That's just going to give us more turn meter. Turn meter boost, turn meter boost, turn meter boost. The faster you go, the more your people are able to do what they want to do. And the more they do what they want to do, the less the enemy likes it because that means you're hitting them in the face with a brick. See, ideally we would have some more regular poisons up here, but it's not going to matter. Look, as soon as this dragon takes a turn, he may even get a turn. He's going to die. There we go. No, y'all tell me. If you don't have Venom Mage, but you have Frozen Banshee, you're golden. If you're later in the game, if you have Dark Kale, you're even better because he's an absolute monster. He is a complete beast. And I could show y'all more dungeons. I could show y'all more runs, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to be about like this. What you're going to do, actually, let's just do one more. We'll do one more. So I'm trying not to make this video too long. I don't want to be convoluted. We are going to do Dragon 25. We'll take Frozen Banshee out. And we're going to put in Tomb Lord. Yeah, this works just fine. Take a look at this. Again, it's all about the debuffs, ladies and gentlemen. It is all about scaling off the debuffs. Look at all the poisons. Look at them all. Look at all the provokes. Now these enemies on stage 25, they hit freaking hard. They hit like a truck. But you know what? They take a turn. Look at their hitting. They're hitting Contra. And she's just like, yeah, that's nice. Is that all you've got, ladies? Is that the best you can do? She's not impressed. She's not impressed at all by what they're putting on the table here. And we're still running 2 rares and an epic. Now, granted, yes, I do realize we're running two legendaries, but fun thing about Tomb Lord, you can buy him using the dupe shop. If you have 4 dupe legendaries that you don't care about, cash them out, grab yourself a Tomb Lord. Tomb Lord works insanely well with Contra, as you're seeing right here. You don't need a defense down if you're running Tomb Lord because the poisons are doing all the work. If you have someone that's a hit point burn, run them together. Run them with Contra. You know what's going to happen? You're burning them up. You're poisoning the enemy. This is what I do on Noon Tower Hard, by the way, ladies and gents. They never even get a turn. Because every time they do, they're hitting Contra. They can't do what they want to do. And every time they take that turn, they're getting fried by the poisons and the hit point burns. I don't have a seer. I can't just go in and just blow up the waves. I can't just nuke them into the middle of next week. It doesn't work. I can't do it. But you know what I can do? I can make it where they can't hit my squishy people. I'm able to control them, and the controlling mechanism that I'm using to do it is Contra and Relentless, and I'm building a team built around rocking debuffs. And the debuffs that I'm using are debuffs that are my win condition. I'm burning the enemy up. I'm poisoning them. Now, I'm not going to kid you and say it's going to be like a 20-second run. It's not. I mean, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up your butt and lie to you. But what I am going to tell you, though, is that if you have Contra, and if you have a team, if you build a team around her that gives her the debuffs that she needs, she will keep those champions alive. Again, this is Dragon 25. We're using accessible champions. You get Toon Lord out of the token trader. Dylesia, you can get her out of blue shards and also yellow shards. Eris, you're able to farm her. And Doomscreech, you get him out of void shards. He's a rare. This is a very accessible team. And you know what this accessible team is doing? It's kicking the crap out of the stage that has some champions that will hit you like a truck. They will ruin your entire day. Now, I don't know. I mean, you tell me. Am I out of my mind? Or does this work? And what you're seeing right here works on Doom Tower hard. Now, granted, if you're going against a team that has a lot of cleansers, a lot of debuffs, you gotta have some setup. I use Yumiko to turn off their skills. Then I'll use a stripper just in case they have some kind of a shield or just some kind of a debuff. Rain the Conjurer is a great choice of using a hit point burn. Then you go in, you rock your Dark Kale, and whoever else is your win condition, Ignatius, Tomb Lord Drain, Tomb Lord that you're able to get from the token trader shop. Then you use Contra's passive to kick in. You control the enemy. If all they're doing is hitting this tanky barbarian, do you think she's really going to care what they're able to do? Not so much. She can take a hit. I mean, it's solid. And what you're seeing right here, since you're able to provoke that head, the head of Wrath, I think it is, in the Hydra, lock that sucker down. He's not a problem. Contra's got this. If you have the Hydra and he's putting buffs up on himself, that's no problem too. You know why? Contra's going to steal the buffs. Is your accuracy a little bit too low? That's okay, because she has a plus 60 accuracy aura. Stick her to the lead of your party. I've got Eris in here because we're in a dungeon and I want the extra speed from the speed aura. If the accuracy was too low, Contra would be in the lead. Doesn't matter. It does not make a difference at all. So then, like I said, this will be the last run because this video is coming up on 30 minutes. And I don't want it to be too long because a lot of times people will lose interest and just kind of phase out, which is again perfectly fine. That's normal. But one thing that I will ask though, if y'all haven't got to this length in the video, if you're enjoying this content, if you would push that thumb up button that's down there below and then press that subscribe button on the right hand side, I would appreciate it. That would mean a whole lot to me. The channel is growing really nice. The goal is I want this channel to get to 500 subscribers by the end of 2022. With your help, we'll be able to get there. And you'll have more botany content like this. Thinking outside the box about how am I going to get through these floors in Doom Tower Normal and Doom Tower Hard that are kicking my butt. What can I do to get through it? Your boy PutinBot's going to show you how to do it. Here we go. Problem solved. And we got some crappy gloves to go along with it. Well, y'all, like I said, we're going to end the video here. And again, if you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing. Give the video a thumbs up. Share with your friends. It really helps the channel out a lot. And to be honest with you, I would be in your debt. I really would appreciate it if y'all would help out the channel that way. Well, on that note, this is your host PutinBot. I am signing out. I hope that you have a good one. and I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.